I still can't believe that we reach out the 30,000 subscriber milestone. Guys, thank you so much for your ongoing support. To celebrate that fact, I want to share with you my personal fragrance journey. Hello everyone, I'm Giorgio and this is my channel, Scented Moments, where we discuss everything about perfumes. So this is a celebratory video. We reached the 30,000 subscriber milestone. It's massive. I've been doing this YouTube thing since July 2018. I've been collecting more since 2016, but I want to share with you my personal fragrance journey, how everything started, what fragrances really impacted me, and how this all happened. Now, the video title is 10 fragrances that marked my fragrance journey, but in reality, I have 12. I included 10 in the title just because I think it relates more to YouTube search, but I have here in the end 12 fragrances to discuss and to share with you all. And without further ado, let's get started. Now, I don't have all fragrances here. Some I really don't have anymore. Others I have still in Lisbon, but I have 4 that I brought with me. So the first fragrance, the fragrance that started everything, it was Davidoff Cool Water. It was my dad who offered me that fragrance when I went to the 7th grade. So I was a 12-year-old kid, and that for me was the scent of masculinity, that fresh, aquatic, minty, slightly woodsy fragrance. I mean, it's a stunning scent. It's a classic for a reason, often compared with Creed's Green Irish Tweed, actually. But I would say that Davidoff Cool Water, it's like the name implies, it's a bit more aquatic, but nonetheless, they definitely share similarities. But for me, it's the fragrance that started everything, and it was the fragrance that I wore a lot until high school. And in high school, the fragrance that marked me the most was from Armani, Giorgio Armani, called Armani Code. Armani Code, the original Eau de Toilette, which I think it came in 2006, and it was created by Antoine Lee. Fantastic scent. It was my ever first approach to this more spicy oriental type of scent, but not being too intense. It had a bit of a fresh bergamot thing going on with some vanillic qualities, spicy, and it was so lovely. For me, it was really a more grown-up type of scent when compared to Cool Water. But I mean, still, I loved Cool Water back then, and I still wore Cool Water back then, but not anymore. I don't have it anymore, Cool Water, actually, in my collection. Maybe I should. Well, who knows? But Armani Code Eau de Toilette was definitely the fragrance that marked my high school. I still to this day really like that scent DNA, but I don't see myself wearing it anymore, if that makes sense. And even also because the Armani Code, the line, they completely revamped that line. So I'm not even sure what's the original Eau de Toilette concentration. They really changed all of the fragrances and the concentrations. Now they have several concentrations and flankers, so it's a bit confusing in that regard. But yes, the original Armani Code was really amazing to me. Now jumping up to university. So I graduated at law school. I'm a lawyer, and the 2 fragrances that really marked my university times were the ones that actually also were the first 2 fragrances that I bought with my own money. So the first one is from the house of Carolina Herrera, the 212 VIP. Oh, the memories. That fragrance, that boozy, rum, vodka, spicy, fruity, ambery scent. It's, man, just wonderful. A lot of compliments I got with that fragrance back then. Really signature scent worthy for me. And it's one that every time I have the opportunity, when I'm in a more like commercial perfume store, I go to try it if they have, just to remind myself of those days for a few seconds. And currently, I think I would not be wearing it, just because, I mean, it happened, things happened with that fragrance when they needed to happen now, when they needed to happen back then, not now. Different period of my life, things change, it's all about moving on and just look back and just be happy that things happened back then. But yes, a lot of great memories, and I really like, still to this day, like that scent. But I think more for because I have a big connection, emotional connection with that scent. And the other fragrance that really marked my university times, it's from the house of Hugo Boss, being the classic Hugo Boss bottled Eau de Toilette. Love that fragrance, and that's the reason why I have a major soft spot for Hugo Boss bottled and their flankers. I really like that scent DNA, and even last year for me the best mainstream release was Hugo Boss Bottle Absolute, which I already talked about. And all started there with the original Hugo Boss bottled, with that spicy cinnamon, apple, vanillic qualities, comforting but yet signature scent worthy again. And it was one that I just fell in love with from the first time I smelled it. I don't have it actually, the original Eau de Toilette, and it's been a long time since I actually revisited it, but nonetheless, great memories attached with that fragrance as well. I mean, other fragrances I could mention, of course, but these are really the ones that I really have vivid memories of, not only wearing them, getting compliments, and really having great memories attached to them. And now we enter in 2016, where everything changed. Back in 2016, I was a trainee lawyer and I was searching for a next fragrance purchase. So I decided to go on YouTube and just randomly, out of curiosity, just search best fragrances for 2016. I was mind blown on what I encountered back then. So many videos that popped out of Jeremy fragrance, Brooklyn fragrance lover, I mean, rest in peace. Redolessence, Robe 08, I mean, you know, Street Scents. And I was like, what? Wait, there are really people, a lot of people talking about fragrances. I mean, what do you have to say? So much to say about fragrance and how you even do that. And so I just click in one of the videos. I think it was Jeremy fragrance, because it was the one that popped the most. I mean, I think I saw immediately like 2 or 3 videos of him. And I was like, okay, let's see what this guy is all about, what he's talking about. And he was talking about La Nuit de l'Homme. And wow, for me, then it was a rabbit hole. I was like, whoa, La Nuit de l'Homme. Oh, wow, okay, interesting. Tell me more. And of course, Jeremy, when he came out, I think he started his YouTube in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. 2016, he already had some following. And actually, I think by the end of 2016, beginning of 2017 is when he really blew up and became more influential. And well, it's actually thanks to him that I even started this YouTube. Well, not the YouTube thing, but I would say the fragrance collecting thing. I will get there to the YouTube thing. So it was thanks to Jeremy in the end. And of course, 2016, what fragrance I bought? La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, the Eau de Toilette. And for me it was, wow, it was mind-blowing how good it smells, so unique, like never smelled anything like that cardamom, lavender, sweet type of scent, mysterious, not being overwhelming. And then everything happened and a whole fragrance world opened up with tons of scents to explore. And one of those fragrances that I explored, it was Dior Homme. The original, of course. And this bottle, I mean, you can see the massive dent here. Many great memories with this fragrance. This was my very first iris scent, and it was love at first sniff, and this is the reason why I love iris perfumes. And Dior Homme became a signature scent for me from end of 2016 or beginning of 2017. I think it's more 2017 that became a signature scent almost to me. A fragrance that really changed the way I saw perfumes, because this was also my first introduction into men's fragrances with floral notes. And for me, it was really like, oh, wow. Fragrances can smell like this and have floral notes. It's not just feminine. Because of course, back then, for me, there was fragrances for men and fragrances for women, because that's how it was, that was the message that was given to me. And still to this day, you have, and that's a huge marketing thing, you have fragrances marketed for men and for women. But as everything changes, and or better, as everything evolves, I then came to realize that, well, no, actually all fragrances are unisex. Fragrances no gender. So the thing is that you just need to wear the fragrances, explore the fragrances for yourself, and maybe you will love like a Chanel number 5 instead of Dior Homme, for example. So it's all a matter of taste and where it really resonates on your skin. But yes, this for me, it's where all started, especially that unisex leaning type of scent started. And to this day, this for me is a masterpiece. It's my reference in terms of iris, although I love and I do appreciate a lot of iris fragrances, and actually I have lots of iris fragrances in my collection that might be superior to Dior Homme in terms of quality. But nonetheless, this for me will always be the reference in terms of iris, the sweet makeup-y cacao, musky suede iris. Just fantastic scent right here. And it was the reason why Dior was my favorite brand back then. I love the Dior Homme line overall. The Dior Homme cologne, very different. The Dior Homme Eau, Dior Homme Parfum back then. I was just not a fan of Dior Homme Intense, actually. It was too sweet for me back then. But yes, overall, this Dior Homme line was a masterpiece of a line. And yeah, and still to this day, I'm cherishing it, especially the original. The next fragrance that really marked my fragrance journey, and it's a fragrance that I do have, but it's in Lisbon still. It's from the house of Mugler, Pure Havane. Amen, Pure Havane. It was my very first blind buy. And because back in the day, gosh, back in the day, it's even mind-blowing to speak like that, like back in the day. But in the end, it was like 8 years ago. It's really mind-blowing. But well, back then, the Amen line was incredibly hyped. Everyone was talking about Pure Mold, Pure Havane, Ultra Zest, the original, you name it. This line was incredibly hyped, and for a reason. For a designer brand and for a designer line, it was incredibly artistic and very affordable. And the performance of all of these fragrances were incredible. So you had all the items checked. I mean, a 100 ml bottle brand new of Pure Havane costed me back then 40 euros, and that was usually the price of all the Amen fragrances. And so of course I have almost all Amen fragrances, just excepting Pure Leather, B-Man, and Pure Coffee. Those are the three that I don't have. All the others I have. And yes, I mean, I also don't have the mint, crypto mint. I didn't like that after eight chocolate feel. I'm actually not a fan of that type of chocolate, to be honest. So yeah, it kind of was off-putting to me. Nonetheless, I have a nice collection of the Amen fragrances that I just adore, and it's so damn sad to see what L'Oreal did to Mugler. I mean, they literally killed the brand, unfortunately. I think it was one of the best perfume brands out there, more on the artistic side, not the most natural smelling perfumes, but definitely unique for a designer brand, and it's unfortunate what they did, to be honest. But yes, Pure Havane, it was a reference in terms of tobacco fragrances, and it was my very first approach to a tobacco forward scent, and more of a sweet cherry pipe tobacco scent. Amazing fragrance. I wore that fragrance so much, actually, and I still have it, more or less half full. So damn good, so damn good. And actually, back then, Giorgio Naxos, which is now the most popular fragrance of the brand, and a fragrance that a lot of people cherish it. But Naxos was heavily inspired by Pure Havane. Although you can see that okay, it's more smooth Naxos, and you can see the quality, but still, I mean, the scent wise, it's quite similar to Pure Havane, and Pure Havane came out first. But nonetheless, I mean, yes, Pure Havane is gone, so it's great that we have Naxos in that regard. Although Naxos was reformulated, not as sweet, it's a bit more balanced, a bit more lavender in there. So might be good news for people who didn't like the overload of sweetness on Naxos originally. But yes, Pure Havane for me, amazing, amazing scent. Then I purchased, was my second purchase, was Pure Malt, my very first, and this is just a bonus, Pure Malt, my very first boozy scent, and to this day it's one of my all-time favorite boozy fragrances, a realistic whiskey accord in there, done to perfection. Then by mid of 2017, my niche journey took a next step. The exclusive designers and niche fragrances. So it was my very first time here in Vilnius. I was already dating my now fiance back then. And she introduced me to a couple of niche perfume stores, which for me was a concept, a weird concept. What is niche fragrances? And so she took me to these stores, and I was mind blown of what I saw, what I experienced. So it was the very first time that I tried Tom Ford in Christiana. That perfume store still exists, and it was also the first time I knew and discovered Crème de la Crème store, all here in Vilnius. And so back in Christiana, the first fragrance that I tried, Tom Ford's Tobacco Veni. And it was just love at first sniff. I mean, this was a fragrance that changed everything in terms of exclusive designers and niche. This was my introduction to, I always say this was my introduction to niche perfumery, though this is not technically a niche fragrance, but it was, back then it was next to niche brands. So you have the Tom Ford Private Blend next to Giorgio, for example. And for me, it was just another world opening. And to this day, this is one of my all-time favorite fragrances. And this is a revolutionary fragrance in the end. This was released in 2007, and it was a very first sweet tobacco fragrance being released. And since then, many other sweet tobacco fragrances came. Some very inspired by Tobacco Veni, others not so much. But yes, this was really a groundbreaking release. And to this day, for me, this smells amazing. And it's the reference in terms of sweet tobacco fragrances. Though currently not the best, but a reference nonetheless. Tobacco Veni, amazing, amazing scent. One that everyone should try. And yeah, really open up my nostrils to more, let's say, artistic scents. Talking about artistic fragrances, when I returned from Vilnius, so I was in Lisbon, also in 2017, and then I started to Google, niche perfume stores in Lisbon, and so I found Embassy Niche Perfumery. And for me, I was like, okay, I really need to go there and check by myself what they have there. And so it was my very first time that I went to that store, tried the fragrances, and it was the first time that I met Ricardo, he is now a very good friend of mine. And it was a journey. And the very first fragrance that I purchased there, it was Andy Towers' L'air de Désert Marocain, a fragrance that I still have to this day, but it's still in Portugal, in Lisbon. Here I have Eau du Désert, which is basically the extrait version of L'air de Désert Marocain, although not smelling the same, but it's like a sequel of L'air de Désert Marocain. And I have other Andy Tower fragrances here, Lone Star Memories, Naxon, Lude, Erode, but I have a few other Tower still in Lisbon that I need to bring here. But L'air really was love at first sniff. And it was that fragrance that opened even more my nostrils to more daring and artistic scents. L'air is already a masterpiece, and it's already a classic. Spicy, dry, ambery scent that everyone should try. Yeah, to this day, love that perfume. The next fragrance, it's a fragrance from the house of Amouage. Still one of my all-time favorite brands, although lately they have been quite disappointing in terms of their latest releases. But this one, it was my very first purchase from Amouage, and it was Lyric Man. And Lyric Man is the reason why I loved rose fragrances. Before Lyric Man, I really did not appreciate rose perfumes. It really smelled off to me and a bit too feminine to me. But after Lyric Man, rose is one of my all-time favorite perfume notes now. And still Lyric Man, it's my reference, one of my references in terms of rose perfumes, though I have Rose de Jamal by Les Indemodables, Lyric Woman as well by the same brand, and a few others really that I adore. But yes, Lyric Man is this lime, bergamot, fresh, red rose, very vibrant and musky as well, that it's just to die for. The performance is fantastic, at least on my skin. Very elegant fragrance, and yes, it was my introduction to Amouage. The next fragrance, this was my very first introduction to natural smelling oud fragrances in 2018, and this one from the house of Ramon Monegal from the Don't Touch My Oud collection. This one is Soul of Oud. It all started with Soul of Oud, and oud is currently one of my all-time favorite notes. I mean, I just adore oud, and it needs to be a really like a natural smelling scent. And you have different types of ouds. This one is a bit more chocolatey. It's in a more of a dark chocolatey, resinous, incensey oud with some saffron, some nutmeg. It's so gorgeous, very deep, mysterious, but comforting at the same time. Love it. Absolutely love Soul of Oud, and I have the entire Don't Touch My Oud line of Ramon Monegal, Ocean Oud, Alhambra Oud, and Oud on Fire. Oh, yeah, and the memories attached with this fragrance as well. I mean, just fantastic, and I really advise you to try the entire Don't Touch My Oud collection from Ramon Monegal. And if you're searching for a straightforward oud, try Soul of Oud. Amazing natural smelling oud. And last but certainly not least, a fragrance that I have, but I have in Lisbon still, from the house of Perfume Roma. And it was the very first fragrance that I tried and that I purchased from Perfume Roma back in the late 2018/early 2019. And it was Fiore d'Ambra. Fiore d'Ambra was the one that really turned me on Perfume Roma, and it's the reason why Perfume Roma is my favorite perfume brand overall. And definitely check out my video about an overview of Perfume Roma brand that I recently uploaded, I mean, a couple of months ago. And so Fiore d'Ambra, it's such a unique amber fragrance. It has this opium accord that gives this very narcotic, but also tea, smoky tea-like nuance with this very thick, resinous, sweet, syrupy amber. So unique, so good, and very long-lasting. It's a very cozy amber overall, and it's again a very unique take on an amber perfume. Of course, I have a big collection of Perfume Roma fragrances. Actually, I do prefer Ambra Aurea to Fiore d'Ambra, but they are very different ambers. Ambra Aurea being more thick, salty, buttery, and Fiore d'Ambra being a bit more spicy and more narcotic with that opium accord, which is really amazing. But yes, it all started with Fiore d'Ambra by Perfume Roma. And guys, this is it. This is my fragrance journey, how everything started. Also, in terms of my YouTube, just to quickly conclude, before having the YouTube channel, I started my Instagram, and it's where I started to post photos and small videos. Actually, back then I was recording like 1 minute videos on first impressions and reviews of perfumes. This back in 2017, until my fiance, she said, why you're not starting YouTube, why you're not starting YouTube. And I was like, maybe I'm not ready, I'm still not ready, like give it a bit more time, let me be more comfortable, like be in front of the camera and so on. And then she was always pushing and pushing to have a YouTube channel, because it was, back then it made more sense. And so here we are, July 2018. It was the first video, and actually I recorded with her in terms of it was my top 5 niche summer fragrances. I still have it uploaded. Definitely feel free to check that video out and see the differences. But yes, and it all started there, and well, from that moment, here we are. Since July 2018 until now, just sharing passion for perfumes, and I'm really happy to see like this small community that we built. And I definitely want to do a live stream. It's been years since I did a live stream, but it's been really hard to find time to do that. But I really need to find some time though. Really missing to do a live stream. Guys, let me know in the comments down below what fragrances marked your fragrance journey, what really made you turn into perfumes. If you find value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe, check out all the other fragrance content that I have available, and see you in the next one. Take care, guys.